Plenty Allen, and I have lived in Salisbury for many years. I came to school at Catawba back in the early 50s, and my wife and I graduated out there, and we decided we'd like to live in Salisbury. So we've lived here, and I've been real involved with the city over the years. I was mayor of the town back in the 70s, and I was president of a little savings and loan for some years, and then I had my own little business I was in the mortgage business, and you know about
Really?
that business.
Yeah, understood.
Well, unfortunately, the business got pretty bad, and I decided it was time to retire, which I did.
What part of the city of Salisbury do you live in?
I live right in the middle of town.
Middle of town?
You know where have you heard of the plaza?
Yeah, I have.
It's the building on the square.
Oh, really?
I live in that building.
Fantastic.
And we enjoy living there. We've lived on the outskirts of town for, over the years when our kids were coming along, but my wife has some physical problems, and we decided that would be a good place to be, and it is a good place. We enjoy being there.
Awesome.
Cemetery, there are some military type stones in there.
Yeah.
And I will see that across the railroad over there, during the war, there was a Confederate hospital. And of course, not surprisingly, as so many people died, they buried those people in trenches over there somewhere.
Really?
Well, some years back, 30, 40 years ago, a group decided that they would like to have some markers for some of those people, and so they put up these stones down here, and there are no bodies under them.
Gotcha.
They're just standing there in honor of the people who died, and wherever they may be buried, we don't know.
You don't know where the bodies are located presently?
Yeah. But in any case, you'll see on there the regiment or whatever group they were involved in during the war. Down in this part of the cemetery, there are a lot of stones that are indicated with the little emblem of the Confederacy on the stones. And then they will digress just a second and take and about once a year, a group such as the Daughters of the Confederacy will come in, and they will put little flags up at the proper places. I don't know how many stones are in here, but the cemetery itself is full of bodies. Not surprisingly, many of those graves early on were marked by wooden markers, crosses, and so on. And over the years, they have gone away, and they have not been replaced.
And you mentioned that your wife is raising money. She
did raise several $1,000s, and with that, she has been instrumental in getting stones stand back up, and we've had great stone people to come in here and stabilize the stones, and she's still doing it. She's still getting some work done. You can see that some of the markers have been glued. You'll see in other places there's a little metal frame around some of the stones that will stabilize them and keep them from falling over.
Mm-hmm. What is the name of the organization, if you want to give her a plug in case anybody sees this, that they can donate to it?
Well, actually,
is it through the church or
the Old Lutheran Cemetery?
Is that
at the city of Salisbury?
Okay, that's where they can donate money for.
Yeah, and they can designate for this cemetery. The Lutheran Church had this cemetery for many years. The guy who owned it, who was the original settler in here, had a residence on this tract of land.
Do you know what his name was? Do you recall?
Well, his name's out here on the marker.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Right out there.
Yeah, I just took a picture of it. I didn't totally research it.
Well, anyway, he had a daughter, and she died, and he buried her on this tract of land. And but as time went on, he decided he didn't want to stay here, so he donated the land and to the Lutheran Church with the provision that it would be a cemetery for the city. And so citizens of the town were buried in here it was the only cemetery, I guess, in the whole area for many, many years. And so some of these graves go back to late 1700s.
1700s.
Yeah. And unfortunately now there's no way to get a new body in here now.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a family in here last week who had finally found their grandfather's grave. He said, "I want to be buried next to Grandpa."
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, he can't be.
Oh, okay, so you're filled.
It's full.
Yeah.
And so.
Do you know what the oldest gravestone is? Is it still marked?
I'm sorry, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
My wife would know.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can find out through her.
Yeah, I can find out for you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Just last year, there was a new stone, a stone put up right through there. You can see sort of the rounded, looks like sort of a cylindrical type stone.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
over
that
there.
bigger
just,
one?
Yeah, it was just put up in the past year. It replaced a stone that was almost identical to it. And it was put up by a family whose forebear is buried there. And he was some sort of a political figure and a judge, and he was important in the community at the time. We've been interested to learn about what has taken place here. Oh, incidentally, one little side item. You might have seen a little stone grave right over there against the south wall. There's a foot buried over there.
Really?
Just a foot.
Just a foot, and then it's marked?
It's marked. You got a nice big stone. Unfortunately, the guy apparently was a party guy, and he fell asleep on the railroad and lost his foot.
Wow.
So they kept it for him. They buried it.
I'll have to check it out. I noticed the fenced-in graves, the
Yeah.
Lowry family.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind them?
Not that I know of. It's a tract that a family had, and you can notice in here. See right there, there's a little coping around this cemetery, around this little group of graves right here. That a family had that tract, and they put all of their various relatives there within that site. And there's one right here. They're all through the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you notice this is such an old cemetery, and it's not unusual that they would have those graves or burial sites with the sides and the cap and so on.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
That was different to me.
Hit me.
So. Well, Mr. Allen, I appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'm really glad you came by. I like to have people come in, and especially families, whose kids are doing some things. So
Yeah.
it's always pleasant.
Well.
So where are you? What are you doing?